All right, breaking news, top of the bulletin. In fact, Jet Airways flight from Mumbai to Jaipur had to turn back to Mumbai after sudden loss in cabin pressure, which led to many passengers bleeding from their noses and ears. As the flight took off, the crew forgot to select the switch, due to which the cabin pressure could not be maintained. As a result, oxygen mask got deployed. All right, let's listen in to one of the passengers who was on the flight.
सब ऑक्सीजन मास्क से सांस लेना चालू रखे और ये एक ऐसी स्थिति थी कि बहुत सारे लोग उसमें दिक्कत महसूस कर रहे थे। कुछ लोगों को नाक से ब्लीडिंग भी हुआ और सांस लेने में बहुत दिक्कत हो रही थी, सर में बहुत प्रेशर हो रहा था। और करीब 1 घंटे के बाद ये फ़्लाइट फिर से बॉम्बे में इन्होंने लैंड करवाई और कहा गया कि हम आपको दूसरी फ़्लाइट में भेजेंगे। और अभी 9:30 बजे जो अनाउंस किया हुआ था वो आज 10:15 बजे की फ़्लाइट अभी इन्होंने अनाउंस की है। और आप मेरे पीछे देख सकते हैं कि अभी भी लोग लाइन में खड़े हैं जयपुर जाने के लिए, बट वो फ़्लाइट का कोई स्टेटस यहाँ तो दिखा रहा है बोर्डिंग, बट अभी तक स्थिति वही बनी हुई है। तो ये एक मैं समझता हूँ बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना थी, जिसमें 166 यात्री जो प्रवास कर रहे थे, जिनको बहुत असुविधा हुई। और भविष्य में ऐसी घटनाएं ना हो, इसके लिए सिविल एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट सारे एयरलाइंस को।
All right, going across to my colleague Polumi Saha, who's joining me for more on this story. Polumi, just break it down for our viewers. This seems to be an emergency which has been created by sheer negligence of the staff.
Absolutely. This is a very serious incident which has taken place, as a result of which both the Ministry, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation have taken immediate action in this regard. What happened is that this flight, which is the Jet Airways flight 9W697, took off from Mumbai's Terminal 2 this morning at about 5:52 a.m. and it was scheduled to arrive in Jaipur later that morning, this morning. But then, of course, what happened is after the flight took off, the pilots realized that they had forgotten to select the bleed switch. Now, this switch basically controls cabin pressure, and as a result of which, because the oxygen levels started depleting on board the aircraft, the passengers started getting uneasy and uncomfortable. The pilots immediately realized the error and they turned back the flight. The flight, which had taken off at about 5:52 a.m. from Mumbai's Terminal 2, landed back at Mumbai Airport at about 6:53 a.m. This morning. There were 166 passengers on board and 5 crew members. What our sources within the DGCA are telling us is that at least 30 passengers were affected as a result of this very serious incident. Their health was affected. Some started having nosebleeds, some had ear bleeds, and some started facing headaches, as a result of which they had to be given medical treatment immediately upon landing at Mumbai Airport. We're still trying to get a confirmation on if any of them have been moved to a nearby hospital as well. It's a very serious incident which has taken place, as a result of which what we're learning is that the DGCA has derostered both pilots, and they've launched an investigation into this as well, which is an AIB investigation, and an Aircraft Accidents Investigation Bureau has launched an investigation. Ankit?
Nagarjun also joining us on the broadcast. Polumi, stay on with me. Nagarjun, you are a pilot yourself. The DGC, in fact, the airline says that they just forgot. Tell our viewers how costly is this mistake and what is the process?
In fact, every time an aircraft takes off, the pilots have a checklist. This is, in fact, starts from the pushback when the aircraft is on ground, pushed back from the terminal. Till the time they land, every phase of the flight has a checklist. Even after takeoff, the checklist clearly says that the cabin pressure should be maintained and the bleed switch should be put on. And clearly, when the checklist was not done, that's the time when it seems like the pilots forgot. The normal procedure is that the person who's flying that leg, either the captain or the co-pilot, flies the leg, and the other person checks the checklist. In fact, the wheels should be up, the undercarriage should be up, the landing light should be off after the takeoff, the weather radar should be on, the cabin pressurization switch should be put on, the cabin pressure should be checked again and again, that it's maintained at 6,000 feet. If not, there could be depressurization. So these are the things, there's a certain checklist that the Boeing company would have given, and also the airline would have had their own checklist. So every time the aircraft takes off or lands or in a cruise altitude also, there are certain checklists the pilots have to follow, which they didn't seem, it seems like this, because it's clearly a human error here. Maybe they got very complacent that after flying hours and hours, thousands of hours of this plane, they would have thought that they remember, but sometimes it happens with human tendency to forget something, and it proved to be costly at this point of time because the oxygen masks were deployed. And remember, 10,000 feet is still manageable for the human body to fly with the amount of oxygen and pressure there. But a lot of people who have asthma problems or backache problems cannot sustain in that pressure. There would be breathing problems, like we saw 30 people or passengers had nose bleeding today because they had other prior problems most likely. And headache is a very normal problem. And if at all the plane had crossed 10,000 feet and approached 12,000 or 11,000, within minutes there would be something called hypoxia where passengers would have turned unconscious, including the pilots.
That's a very, very serious lapse on the part of the crew as far as this flight is concerned. Polumi, now what happens next in this DGCA investigation?
Well, what we are learning is that the DGCA has obviously launched an investigation. It has derostered both pilots from duty for some amount of time until the investigation is over, and the Air Accidents Investigation Bureau is investigating it. Also, what we are learning from the ministry is that it has taken cognizance of this incident on 9W697 and has requested the DGCA to file its report immediately on the issue. And the crew, as I said, has been derostered, and they are also ensuring that treatment is given to all the passengers who were on board this flight. 30 passengers is what our sources within the ministry are in fact saying that who were in fact, as a result of this incident, affected on this flight, and they are being given adequate treatment. And the DGCA obviously is looking into this matter. The DGCA has taken it extremely seriously because this is a very serious incident. It could have, impacted the health issue seriously of some of these passengers. Like Nagarjun was pointing out, if you're an asthma patient, this is bound to affect you very seriously, as a result of which there were those who had nosebleeds, ear bleeds, and a headache, obviously, because of loss of cabin pressure. It is one of the most sort of common symptoms that you're going to be impacted with. But yes, very serious cognizance has been taken by the ministry, and it has ordered the DGCA to file a report.
All right, let's in fact listen to once again what the passenger who was on board this aircraft in fact said earlier.
और पैसेंजर्स को कहा गया कि आप सब ऑक्सीजन मास्क से सांस लेना चालू रखें, और ये एक ऐसी स्थिति थी कि बहुत सारे लोग उसमें दिक्कत महसूस कर रहे थे. कुछ लोगों को नाक से ब्लीडिंग भी हुआ और सांस लेने में बहुत दिक्कत हो रही थी, सर में बहुत प्रेशर हो रहा था. और करीब 1 घंटे के बाद ये फ़्लाइट फिर से बॉम्बे में इन्होंने लैंड करवाई और कहा गया कि हम आपको दूसरी फ़्लाइट में भेजेंगे. और अभी 9:30 बजे जो अनाउंस किया हुआ था, वो आज 10:15 बजे की फ़्लाइट अभी इन्होंने अनाउंस की है. और आप मेरे पीछे देख सकते हैं कि अभी भी लोग लाइन में खड़े हैं जयपुर जाने के लिए, बट वो फ़्लाइट का कोई स्टेटस यहाँ तो दिखा रहा है बोर्डिंग, बट अभी तक स्थिति वही बनी हुई है. तो ये एक मैं समझता हूँ बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना थी, जिसमें 166 यात्री जो प्रवास कर रहे थे, जिनको बहुत असुविधा हुई. और भविष्य में ऐसी घटनाएं ना हो, इसके लिए सिविल एविएशन डिपार्टमेंट सारे एयरलाइंस को.
All right, Polumi, at this point of time for the Jet Airways, which is also struggling in other aspects, this doesn't really also come as a bad PR, but this will shake the confidence of the passengers in the airlines as well.
Absolutely. It's really bad days for Jet, as you pointed out, Ankit. They are facing financial problems, in terms of, the money that's available to the airline, the funds that's available to the airline. There is talk of curtailing services in terms of how we've known Jet to function for a very long time, and it is facing some stiff competition in the aviation sector, especially after the launch of airlines like Vistara. So Jet Airways is definitely in some amount of trouble, and this incident, it's a very serious incident which is going to shake the confidence of passengers who are Jet customers, who have been with Jet for a very long time. Their loyalty will be shaken. Jet has been a player in the industry for a very, very long time, and this is an incident that is going to shake customer confidence, because you're talking about, yes, as Nagarjun was pointing out, it's human error. You made a mistake. You think you've got it all checked, but there was that one switch which impacted passenger lives immediately and their health conditions, at least at the least. And you forgot to switch that on. But this is definitely bad PR for Jet Airways to have to try and explain this away, that you forgot to select the bleed switch which controls cabin pressure. Cabin pressure dropped on the flight as it was mid-air, and it had taken off from the airport, and then of course you had to turn back the flight. Obviously a very scary incident. There are those who are facing health ailments already, but a scary incident for everyone on board that flight, and they will obviously think twice again before boarding flight, as to whether they are in safe hands, because this is a very serious job. Everyone knows that the job of a pilot is a very serious job. Human lives are at stake, and they're all in the hands of the two pilots who are operating a flight. For something like this to have happened on board a jet flight, it will have to do a lot of explaining away in terms of giving its explanation to the ministry, the DGCA which will be investigating this, the AIB which will be investigating this, and will be immediately seeking a response from Jet.
Nagarjun, if I can very quickly bring you in at this point of... all right, Nagarjun, we've lost that line with Nagarjun. And this is, of course, a serious lapse as far as the Jet Airways is concerned. Polumi, when the DGCA looks at all these aspects, now, what is the future course of action for these pilots? Could they lose their license as well?
Well, that is a matter of investigation, Ankit. The pilots obviously will have to try and explain this away first, and will have to try and explain how exactly did this error happen, who is to be held responsible, what was the exact sequence of events before, of course, they did their checks and then they went ahead and took off. What exactly happened? What was what transpired on board this aircraft, which was a Boeing 797? They need to 737, and they need to come to a conclusion as to what exactly transpired. Only after the DGCA has heard that explanation can it go ahead and take a call as to what exactly needs to be done. For the moment, they have been put off their roster, so they won't be flying until this incident is behind them.
Thank you so much, Polumi, for joining us with all those details. Serious incident of the lapse coming in there on the jet aircraft flight from Mumbai to Jaipur, which put the safety of the passengers in jeopardy. Now the DGCA has launched an investigation.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.